Colin, how are you this morning?
Hello Michelle, I'm fine, thank you very much.
So thank you so much for having me down here at Malleny Gardens. Would you like to introduce yourself please and tell the viewers what it is you do here in the garden?
Okay, so my name's Colin Wren. I'm the Gardens and Design Landscape Manager for Edinburgh and East, and my role is to support the gardeners across the central belt basically, helping them to do some research, providing them with plant lists, verifying that what we have on the ground is what we have on the ground, and doing sort of some of the back of house stuff that maybe the gardeners don't have time to do.
Okay. And here at Malleny Gardens, what's the history of the garden?
So this garden, it's an old garden, it's been around for a long time. It came to the trust in 1968 and it was gifted by Mrs. Brown Henderson. She'd been a keen rose grower, so we've obviously picked up on that. And the other interesting thing that's here is there's quite a lot of old-fashioned metal work, which is from Gibson Carmichael. And he left some of this behind, but when he moved he took most of it with him. But there's some interesting metal work around with little figurines and wildlife, some birds and things. Very nice.
Wow. You were saying before that there's 100 different, is it species of roses in the garden? Or?
So no, we've got a
Varieties.
national collection of 19th century shrub roses here. We have about 125 cultivars of roses from the 1800s, and we also have about 16 species and some other hybrid roses that aren't from the 1800s.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, like maybe many people would get kind of mixed up between what the difference is between cultivars, hybrids. Would you be able to explain that to us, please?
So cultivars generally are hybrids. So a hybrid is when you take two species or two parents and you cross-pollinate them. The seedlings from that are generally hybrid cultivars. The species ones will come true from seed. So anything that's a species rose, you can collect the hawthorns or the hips, sow the seeds, and they'll come exactly the same as what the parent was. The hybrid ones, if you collect the seeds, as if they set seed, you'll end up with a mixture of things. So if you had a pink and a white parent originally and you've got a pale pink hybrid, when you collect the seed and sow the seed, you might end up with pink or white seedlings again, not the same as the parent plant you took the seed from.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep. Clean as mud.
Good. So hybrids don't come true from seed, and they have mixed parentage, just like you and I.
Perfect, thank you. So has all the roses been here from initially when it was first bought over, or started to look after now?
So up near the house we've got some old Scotch briars, Scotch roses. They're from pre the trust, so they're maybe 100 years old. And what the trust has done is it's built on this history of roses. So Mrs. Brown Henderson had collected roses from her friend over at what's the name of the house? What's the name of the house? She'd collected roses from a friend who was also Mr. Holt. He was very keen on growing roses. So we've picked up on that and we've introduced more roses. And then also we got national collection status in the 1980s, 86, something like that. So we've built on that collection from then. And it's really just to maintain, these old cultivars or these old hybrids, because people don't grow them anymore. People are looking for the David Austin roses that flower from May through to September, whereas a lot of these only flower for a week or two, and that's it. So, your average small gardener wants something that's going to last. And these things are disappearing, so it's important to keep them going.
For people that are watching, what kind of rose would you recommend for a small garden?
So there's a really nice little rose called Little White Pet. It has quite small flowers, makes a relatively small bush, but it's covered in flowers when it's out. It's absolutely amazing.
And does that need any maintenance at all, or?
Not really, no. You can take some of the older growth out every couple of years, and you could deadhead, that would certainly help. So take off the old flowering stems, but relatively easy to look after.
Fantastic. Is there anything pest and disease wise that people should look out for when they're buying roses?
So if you're going to buy a rose from the garden centre, look for something that looks healthy. So if it's got lots of dead sticks and things in it, don't even touch that. Sometimes it pays to knock them out the pot, so turn the pot upside down, take the pot off and see what the roots look like. If they're all wound around the bottom of the pot, just put it back on the shelf, don't take that one. Look for ones with lots of new growth coming away from the base. So most of the roses that you buy tend to be grafted, so you have a different rootstock to the top, and you want as many shoots obviously coming away from the top as possible, so that you get more flowers later on.
Okay.
Anything with marks on the leaves, holes in the leaves, and things that suggest they're either pests or diseases should be avoided as well.
Yes. And would that one be good for wildlife, bees and things as well? Or?
So no, if you want to encourage bees, then you want simple flowers. So single flowers are better for bees than double flowers. So there's a nice rose called the Dunwich rose, which again comes to about 3 feet high, maybe 4 feet across, and is covered in creamy white single flowers that the bees would just love.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for all your input. That's perfect. Thanks so much, Colin.
So,
Okay, thanks.